What's up, YouTube? Zach's back with another attack, and today we're going to be taking a look at this little beast, the iPhone 7. So, stick with me, I hope you'll enjoy this one, but first, what is Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination? Zach's back with another attack, so come on in and just relax, hit subscribe and join the fun. You're Zach to the future now, son. Alright guys, so like I said, we've got the iPhone 7 here. I've had this phone and been using it as my daily driver for about the last 3 months, a little over 3 months, and I've actually been making all of my YouTube videos with this thing, and I have not had really any issues. The only real issue that I did have with this phone is that I did a interview and I used the screen recorder feature that comes with iOS 11, and it didn't save that footage of the interview with Receptive Tech. You can check out the 3 parts of that on my channel, but unfortunately there's no video of him, even though I did watch video of him the entire time we were talking, but my phone didn't save it, and I contacted Apple and there was nothing I could really do to get that footage back. There's no way to get it off because you can't just plug this into a computer and go to a certain temporary file spot or anything like that, as you might be able to do with certain Android phones. But that's a bit of a small problem, and either way, I think that it's more of an iOS 11 problem than an iPhone 7 problem, so I can't fault it too much for that. If you get an iPhone, you know what you're getting into. You're getting into this iOS ecosystem, and you are getting into the ecosystem where you have to use Apple products, you have to use iTunes to put things on your phone, you have to use iCloud and stuff like that. It's not like Android where you can just plug it into your computer and drag and drop things like that. So if you're getting into iPhone, you have to know what you're getting into. But that said, I have been with iPhone for a long time. I love Apple. I've got some iPhones back here, as you can see, so this is not my first time at the rodeo. I have used the original iPhone all the way up to the iPhone 7. Now there is the 8, the 8 Plus, and soon to be the 10 coming out, and of course there's the 7 Plus, but I have not used that. I did, however, use the 6 Plus when that first came out, and I really loved it. I upgraded after 2 years to the 6S, not the 6S Plus, because I didn't think there was enough differences between the 6S Plus and the original 6S. So I stuck to the original 6S, and I loved it. I gotta say, that's the first time that I've ever gone for the much higher storage configuration, and I really loved that I went to 128, and that thing was almost never full. Eventually, it did become full. I am a jailbreaker too, so when I was able to jailbreak my 6S, I really took advantage of that, and it did end up becoming full because of that. But now you can even get the 256GB models. Unfortunately, Apple kind of quietly killed 256GB on the iPhone 7, but I believe you can still get it on the 10 and on the 8 and 8 Plus, so that's really cool. There is a big difference between the 7 and the 7 Plus, however, which is the dual camera setup, and it allows you to do portrait mode, and of course the screen size. There's some other things like that. It's not a whole lot different. I haven't found a lot of issues other than not being able to do that portrait mode that everyone kind of makes a big deal about, and some of my friends who do have the iPhone 7 Plus really enjoy that feature, so I would like to see that come to the other iPhones in the future. That said, this iPhone has a taptic engine built into the home button, so it is not a real home button, it's all virtual now. And I think that's really cool. It works really well. You can control what amount that the taptic feedback happens when you push the button to make sure that it feels like a real button to you. The Touch ID is better than ever, and of course in this version of iOS they fixed the issue where you would put your thumb on the thing and it would sign in and lose all your notifications quicker than you could even look at them. So that's definitely a good thing. Apple's paying attention, they're doing what they have to, and I'm really liking that. The screen looks better than ever. The stereo speakers are awesome. I've taken good advantage of that, and I've noticed with a lot of videos on YouTube you can hear it coming out of both speakers if the people who make that video take advantage of stereo audio. A lot of people I've heard do reviews of the iPhone 7 have actually said that these stereo speakers don't work and they both play the same side, but that's not true. They actually do work fully stereo. You know, the left side comes out of here and the right side comes out of the bottom like normal. So that's really awesome, and this phone is waterproof. I've used it in the shower, I have taken it into the lake, and I have taken it into swimming pools, washed it in the sink. When it gets dirty, it's definitely very, very waterproof, and I have had no issues with that. In the rain, it works great. The only issue is that it still has problems with rain getting on the screen and it randomly trying to touch different places and having it want to do things when you're like, that's not what I'm trying to do. And of course, that's kind of just an issue with smartphones in general. I don't think anyone's really solved that issue. As far as the touchscreen, that's something you kind of just got to put up with, but it is very receptive. Touch ID is great. 3D touch is even better in this one. More and more things are starting to adapt that, and I'm finding more uses for it. I still don't use it a lot. I do think that that shouldn't have been such a big deal in the 6S. I think that was one of the biggest updates between the 6 and the 6S, so I don't think that that is a major deal, just because there's still not a lot of uses for it. If you're going to do something in an app, you kind of can just go to the app and it only takes a second to get to a certain screen, you know? If you're on the home screen and you hold down on the home button, you're able to do most recent voicemails, create new contact, search for contact, and you can do that, but the amount of time it takes you to push down and select what you want, I could just go into the app and go to voicemail, or go into the app and go to contacts, and then the search bar is right at the top, you know? So it's not as useful as I could hope, but it is a cool feature, and certain things hopefully will take advantage of it more and more and more as the time goes on. So that's really exciting to see. The integration with everything on iPhones is really awesome. We've got the passwords with the Apple keychain, of course Apple Music. I use iMovie to make all of my videos, so that's really a great program that is working amazingly with the iPhones. And this iPhone is getting all of the updates for the foreseeable future, so there's really no issue with the iPhone 7. If this is a problem with you wanting the 7 or the 8 or the 8 Plus or the 7 Plus, or if you're gonna wait out for the 10, what do I think you should do? Well, honestly, I think maybe you should go for the 7 Plus, and that's just because it's got the better features, it's got the bigger screen. If you don't like the bigger screen, then maybe go to the 8, but I don't think the 8 Plus is necessarily worth it. If you have the money, maybe go for the 8 Plus because it's got everything you need and it's gonna be future-proof for longer. But the 10 is coming out. If you want to wait for that, you can, but honestly, it's going to be so long before it comes out. The price is going to go down. It's brand new for Apple. Things are still going to be very buggy with it, and it's going to take them a lot of time to get everything settled. They're not going to have the supply for you to get it as quick as you want. Even if you pre-order it, people are saying it could take months and months to get it. I believe tomorrow's actually when you pre-order it, and there's people saying that if you pre-order it tomorrow right at midnight, you might still not get it until next year. So that's really crazy to me, and everything will be better with the later versions of the iPhone 10. The iPhone 8 is plenty good. It's got great features. You can do 4K at 60, and that's so amazing. I really want to get a iPhone 8 just for the purpose of YouTube videos, but of course that's a different issue. If you do YouTube videos, I would suggest going up to the 8, but other than that, I think the 7 and the 7 Plus are definitely good enough for anybody. Anything you need, they can do. And they're cheaper. So the biggest complaint with iPhones and Apple products in general is the price. So if you can get a cheaper phone that is just as good, why wouldn't you? So I definitely say that the 7 is worth it, and the 8 of course is worth it as well, but if you're willing to pay that premium, then you might get a little bit better use out of it, but probably not enough that it's worth it in my eyes just yet. That said, the battery life is pretty good on this. The Plus is where it's at with the battery. If you want to get the 7 Plus or the 8 Plus, that's definitely your best bet as far as battery. But this has decent battery. I've been able to get it to last most of the day if I'm watching a lot of videos or if I'm using it a lot. It will die before the day's over. And it does allow fast charging, kind of. I use an iPad charger, and that works fairly well. If you have a MacBook charger, apparently that works with the 7 like it does with the 8, so I have not tried that, but I've heard that it works just the same on the 7 and the 7 Plus. There's a few design features with this that are just annoyances in a way, like how hard it is to find where to turn off the auto brightness. That was a big thing because it would constantly be changing brightness on me, and I didn't like that, so I normally turn that off and just control the brightness on my own. And then of course we've got the headphone jack being gone. Everybody knows about that and has an opinion on that. A lot of people think that it's really dumb and they want the headphone jack. I think that it's not the greatest idea. Not everybody has Bluetooth headphones yet, and that little dongle they give you does not allow you to charge your phone and listen to music at the same time, which I actually regularly do. I'll edit videos while it's on the charger since I use my phone to shoot these videos. A lot of times it will be very low or dead at the end of the day, and I just want to edit my videos or watch YouTube videos while I'm sleeping or something, and I can't do that unless I use Bluetooth headphones or something like that. So that's a little annoying. Of course they do include headphones, which is great. The Pixel should learn from that, but even with including headphones with it, I don't think that that's worth getting rid of the whole headphone jack. And finally, when the speakers get water in them, they're a little fuzzy, and that can last for a long time. So those are just little annoyances, nitpicky things, but all in all, I gotta say the 7 is better than my 6 Plus. Not quite as good, honestly, as my 6S, but that is just because it had 128 gigabytes of storage. My 7 just has the base amount of 32. So I do like that extra storage. So if you can get a 6S with a high amount of storage, that might even be worth it too. I think that because of the amount of storage space that iOS itself uses that takes up space on your phone, I think it's worth getting the highest possible storage configuration device that you can afford. But guys, I'm gonna end it there. This phone is worth it. 3 months later, it's worth it in 2017. This phone is probably one of the best phones I've ever had. I just wish that I got the one with more storage, but that's not the phone's fault. So anyways guys, I am Zach. Don't you do crack, and I'll catch you in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. There's another great video for you right here. You can click here to subscribe, and then you won't miss any of my content. I strive to make content for you constantly that helps you smile every day through optimism and comedy. So make sure you subscribe, watch my stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.